Right. Welcome. Hello. This is the Dev Kit. My name is Matt.
And my name is Josh. This is a show coming from the Video Game Development Association at Cal State Long Beach, where we talk about game news and industry news. And we have two guests today.
Hi, my name is Cameron. I'm the sound lead here at VGDA, and I do sound type things.
And I'm Elijah, and I'm the design sub-lead focusing on gameplay. So we do, writing and design for gameplay stuff.
So, what's new in the industry today, Matt?
Well, Josh, as you know, the industry is ever evolving.
Really?
And
I was not
in
aware.
case you didn't know,
Had
new
no
games
idea.
do come out.
Really?
I don't know. It's kind of a big week, or at least it was last week. VR has technically released, like our major platforms are coming out.
Yeah. Steam keeps
HTC
advertising
Vive
it.
and Oculus. Yeah, it's kind of, you open up your Steam and then it's just kind of in your face.
VR!
I don't mind. It's just that I don't have one.
See, I would probably go out and get one if it weren't $800.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Well, that's the problem with all new technology. It's super cool, but expensive.
But it's like, where's the line? Where do you choose? I'll invest in it right now. I'll
When
be
it's-
an early adopter.
When I have more money.
Yeah, system
It's
that.
entirely funds-based here.
I feel like kind of an outsider with all the VR conversations that I've heard and been involved with so far, because I'm not really interested in it as much at the
You
level.
just don't care.
At the level it's at right now. No, I really care when it gets like really immersive, like when they're actually building like full body pods and stuff, and you're really in the
They're
environment.
getting
That's
pretty
right.
close.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I mean, no one has a whole like
No,
pod,
but
like moving floor.
They have
Well,
the
here-
Omni.
here's the
but-
thing. Having you physically move around, people don't want to do that. Like, they
Yeah.
already made the Wii. People messed around with the Wii, and they discovered pretty quickly, I hate exercising while playing video games.
No,
But I want to actually have to move around to control my
I
character.
would
there's
like
the-
the chance to do that.
Sure.
But back when the first Wii came out, I remember reading a story about how this guy actually lost weight, like a ton of weight, just playing Wii Sports. Not
Yeah,
even
no,
Wii
you
Fit.
could. It's
Just-
enough cardio that you're moving around, but
Yeah.
I think that the direction where VR is going to get closer to what you want is like I think the Vive has it. I'm not sure, but where they have they're like these little remotes where it registers hand movement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So not only can you see what's going on, you can interact with the world that you're in. You still can't walk around, but that's what you have like control sticks for.
Actually, there's something. I went to GDC, and at GDC they're showing off.
Well, brag about it.
There's this thing called the Omni, where you put on like special shoes, and then it was like a plastic surface. So when you walked on the Omni, it kept on bringing you back to the middle of it. So
It's like a multi-directional treadmill.
Yeah, it was like a multi-directional treadmill. They put you in a harness so you stood straight up,
Okay.
and then there was trackers on the shoes you were wearing, so they knew which direction you were going in the game.
So it tracks your movement and like,
That's
keeps
super
you.
cool.
in-
That's
And
what I want.
I feel like
That's
that could
kinda
never be.
cool.
That's going to bring back arcades.
Yeah, actually, I saw a news story the other day that people are starting to invest in the Omni and then building like arcade type things.
Their own
Yeah.
home
Yeah.
setup. I kind of feel like that's actually the more the direction that things are going, where everyone has their own like setup at home, and it's like you go to your friend's house, your rich friend who has this technology, you play his instead of like going to a public space like an arcade. I think it would be great to go
Yeah.
back to arcade. I know he lives I'd say like early 90s. That's where you live, right?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah, basically.
He would love that, I'm sure.
Well, one other thing I saw that's kind of similar to that, which I like the idea of, is I noticed that there was, I can't remember the name of it, so I feel bad, but there was a company that was designing theme parks around virtual reality. But, go ahead.
Or doesn't Six Flags have like a...
Not like that. That's what I was
Okay.
about to say. Because that's one thing. It's like, you're on a roller coaster and there's a VR thing that you're wearing as you go.
Oh,
but
that.
there was a theme park where they were actually building attractions based around VR. So an example would be, like, imagine you're in like a virtual reality Halo. So they put you into this maze, which is just gray walls everywhere. And then they give you, a light gun of some sort. And then you're wearing a headset, which is putting an augmented reality filter over everything you're seeing. So you're in a game world that happens to match the real world exactly. So when you walk up to a wall, it'll be this crazy looking high-tech wall, but you'll feel it because it's actually there.
So it's what VR could be today, like the VR we have today. It's just if they made it wireless, and then you could set up like
Yeah,
kind
you're wearing some sort of
landscapes.
pack that's
Yeah.
running everything.
I would
Isn't-
totally go
okay.
do that.
Yeah, that looked really cool to me. I was like, I want to do that.
Isn't the HoloLens wireless?
It may.
Is it?
It might
Yeah,
be.
I think so.
Well, I know there's some that you strap your phone into. Those
Yeah.
are wireless because obviously
Yeah,
it's
it's your
being
phone.
powered off your phone.
I don't think those are necessarily. They use AR, like augment your reality for you. It's like there may be some apps that might throw a couple of like starships at you and you have to shoot them, but
Oh no, the phone stuff is virtual reality.
yes, but I don't know if it's augmented reality.
No, it's virtual. I have Google Cardboard does that.
I feel
Are
like
you
we
not
have.
familiar
I
with
feel
this?
like we have a
Augmented reality
disconnect
means you're
in-
seeing
It-
the actual world with something layered on
Yes,
top
it
of
changes something about what you're looking
Correct.
at on.
Virtual reality means that you're within a game.
Right.
Yeah, the phones can do virtual reality.
But
I
you're
know
talking
that.
about augmented.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm wondering
Disconnect.
if because the HoloLens, that's one of its main selling points is that it's big on augmented reality. Like
It's
it'll let you
completely
manipulate.
augmented.
Yeah, you can. A lot of their applications can manipulate what you're looking at.
That's pretty cool.
So I know a little bit more than John.
You do. I'm not too familiar with the HoloLens.
No, I'm not either. But it seems like you know a little bit about it.
A little bit.
Because of all your GDC
Yeah.
experience.
It wasn't at GDC.
I know.
It's
No,
Well-
it's at Cameron's house. He's
oh my
got
God.
it.
I think they just sent out the dev kits, but they haven't.
Dev kit.
Hey,
Dev kit. Hey.
But
Some subtle.
I think it's coming out in
advertising.
2017.
We're gonna have like a graphic
Yeah.
that pops up whenever we say
Dev
kit.
Roll credits.
Yeah.
Just turn into a drinking game. It's like, oh, dev kit.
That's cool though. I am looking forward to HoloLens coming out at some point.
Yeah.
I just remember some kind of like, it was CG, but they somehow had a Minecraft implement into it. Like, yeah, you could just you have a table and it creates like a surface you can actually like build, like play Minecraft on. It
That
it
sounds pretty
looked
cool.
cool. It
I don't even
looked
play Minecraft, and that sounds cool. So.
But it's
Like,
like,
you would actually like reach forward and like
I-
move the blocks.
I'd have to
around?
look
or
up,
it was
or,
a
you know,
video.
just go buy
Yeah,
some
I
videos.
saw
Yeah,
that
that's
video.
exactly what
and
I
it was
was
like it was like a
thinking, like, I
tabletop
would
like
rather do
this.
Yeah, it measure you have a flat table, like a empty table, and then it locates that with the headset, and then like basically it built up the game on top of it, and you can like interact with
Yeah,
it.
and then move blocks.
Is
and
it
stuff.
still only the blocks, just the standard blocks?
The video I saw was really
Well,
early, but
everything in Minecraft.
Yo, well, that's
is
what I
just-
was asking. Is
it
it
could be
just
little
Minecraft?
pigs.
Well, yeah, I'm sure stuff moves around, but there'd be
just
no
like
point.
flick pigs off the table. So I know that's what you're looking forward to, but do you have you shown any interest in VR that's out now?
You
Like-
mean just like the ones that you can get for Steam, I guess, where you just sit there and like put on a visor thing?
Well, that's more Oculus. Oculus is specifically like at a desk, but I happen to know HTC Vive. It creates a space for you. You can set up like the infrared sensors in a room and like walk around and use that.
And so it actually does sense if you're moving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what the hand controllers are for too. I know Oculus is working on hand controllers, but they haven't
Well,
released
what do the
those
hand
yet.
controllers do?
They register your hand movement.
It's
So-
basically
Oh, okay.
Wiimotes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then-
So within the game, you can see your hands, and the hands move the way your hands move.
Okay.
Potentially, that's not necessarily how it's being used.
I mean, I guess I would be more interested in that than like Oculus, because I mean, what's the point of just having a screen closer to your
I
face
agree,
than just
like-
having a nice big TV?
Well, it's
right?
like going
you
and
can,
seeing
like,
a 3D movie. You know, once you've
around.
seen like 5 minutes in, it kind of just looks like normal.
I don't even like 3D movies because it obscures extra details you could see in the background.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
can see that. Yeah.
That's true.
Cinematically, it's very ugly.
I just like with the whole idea of virtual reality that it allows you to do things you couldn't normally do in a game.
Mm.
Because I think I've brought this up before, but there was a tech demo for one of the virtual reality things, and it was some sort of space shooter. And this ship came on and shot a rocket at the guy who's playing, and he just put his gun down and grabbed the rocket as it was flying
Okay,
out
that's
and
pretty
chucked
cool.
it back. at
That's
the thing.
cool.
And I was like, if I could play a game where I can do that, I'm already set.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Hey, this is a show where we talk about indie games, right?
This is independent development.
It is.
Virtual reality is
I-
pretty independent. But on that note, one thing that I came across is that a lot of indie games have been charging more money recently because they feel it's justified, and a lot of people have been really angry about that. So, I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I actually have noticed on Steam, like, I'll see like, oh, there's this really cool new indie game I want to go play, and it's like $20 or more.
Yeah, like The Witness just released, and that's, I think, $30.
No, it's 40.
40?
Wow.
But I have it on my wish list, and they notified me. It was on sale for 5%.
That's
Oh.
Off or
5% off, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
5%.
It's like,
5%,
damn,
yeah.
95% off.
No, it was 5% off. Or it was like a couple bucks off the 40.
Yeah, but
and
I
was
mean, still, like,
ah.
do you feel like it's not justified for an indie game to charge that, or is it worth it if it's got the quality to match like a AAA title?
Even with industry games, it's like they adjust their prices accordingly to like the level of work put in.
I would disagree, because almost
Everything's
every
60-ish.
game that comes out for
Well, that's
the
true.
PS4, for instance, is 60 to start with minor exceptions. But almost every game that releases starts at 60, and then it
charge
it
60
drops
more
when they
for
realize
the
that
DLC.
yeah.
Well, no, but like
Battlefield.
there's also
We
the
won't talk about that.
there's like the arcade games, the smaller games, that smaller like actually indie developers who put their games onto Xbox Live and
That's true, like the download games.
like the download games, the
Right.
smaller ones. Those are cheaper, obviously, and it's like they had less investment because they're a smaller company.
Correct.
But
Oh, like looking at something like, I'm just thinking of like indie games, like the level of something like Binding of Isaac, like that shouldn't be like a full charge game. That would be like $10 maybe,
Yeah.
because I mean you have a
I mean,
limited
a hopeful price.
yeah, you have a limited extent of like I really think it can be measured by like how much the game has to offer,
Right.
as far as like the depth to it and
But
stuff.
let me bring up a different example then. No Man's Sky. That is an independent developer, and that game is massive.
Yeah.
So would you feel that, because the price tag that's being set at, I can't remember exactly what it is, between $40 and $60.
I think that sounds about right from what I've seen in all the trailers
Mhm.
for it and how extensive it's going to be with like just the massive servers that they're going
Yeah.
to have. Yeah.
I'm a little concerned though, because every time I look at that, I'm like, this sounds amazing, and it just something about it sounds too good to be true.
Are they going to
I'm
have two different servers, or is the PC actually going to feed into the PlayStation?
I
server?
couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I think also it's the indie space is changing, like what we consider indie developers, because 10 or so years ago it was one guy, one or two people building a really small game, a downloadable game, which you couldn't do at the time only for really small games. But now indie games make a ton of money. So like really professional people are starting their own indie studios, like Marty O'Donnell, the composer and sound designer for all the Halo games. He's on a music-based game, but it's an indie game.
I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right now I'm
Favorite
already like, I gotta go
composers.
check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on Kickstarter. I forget the actual title of the name, but that just shows how like professional people are going into the indie space, because you can make like real company-esque money on that.
And you have a little more freedom too. You're not being
Yeah.
bound
Yeah.
by
I mean,
whatever.
he got kicked out of
I think-
Bungie. So.
Really?
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why he's not there anymore.
No, but
Because
I think
he was the only original member left. Sorry.
It's okay,
Yikes.
Elijah. No, but since you mentioned Kickstarter, like I think crowdfunding has also been a big part of the
Yeah.
popularization
Yes, it
of
has.
like building games like that.
Mhm.
And it's just like kind of paved the way to allow like smaller developers to be like, well, I can get money for free like that. Maybe we'll just set up our business like that, and just more games come out, bigger games come out. It's just kind of a trend.
Well, I mean, some of the money that those things are pulling in, it's more than you'd have funding for on a standard game. Like I know I
Mhm.
personally just funded, well, a while back.
Did you? What'd you fund, John?
Bloodstained. It's by I can't pronounce the name, so I'm just not going to try. The same guy who did Castlevania, because
Okay.
Konami decided they weren't going to really make a lot of games anymore. So he decided, I'm going to go make Castlevania on my own, but I can't call it Castlevania. So it's pretty much Castlevania with a different main character and with a different storyline. But the gameplay is nearly
Some
identical.
more Castlevania.
Right. And that generated 5.5 million in Kickstarter funds. Yeah, they kept running out
That's a
of
lot.
backer goals, and they had to keep making more.
That's a
So
lot.
that's one reason I funded it. I was like, you know what? This game is going to have so much content in it, I'm never going to finish playing.
Yeah.
Totally worth my money.
It'll also never come out.
I'm trying to.
Actually, they're making pretty good progress on it. Mighty Number 9. Now that one, that might be a different
No.
story.
I'm trying to remember, because I know that game company has $9 million for their next project, but I can't remember if they were crowdfunded or if they actually got that from, like one of those like publishers that like give money to.
It could be a
indie
combination of
studios.
both.
An investment.
A lot of times they start with the crowdfunding, and if they get enough, then the publisher is like, "Oh, okay, well, we'll give you some money."
They're
to
worth
supplement
looking
that.
at. We'll throw them a bone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of, since we're talking about the way the industry is going, we're all hopeful game developers here. Well, at least you guys are as part of the team right now. How's our game going?
I like you just exclude me from that.
I don't even know what you're doing, Josh. You're on the team, I guess.
So,
Please,
From-
Cameron.
okay.
How's the sound go? How does the game sound?
from what I've heard, it's pretty good. I have my team. We're making all the level music right now, and that should be done within a week. And I've heard samples from the other two people who are writing music, and it sounds really good. So I'm looking forward to that. We're also recording all the sounds, and that's coming along. And most of the sound in general should be done within 2 weeks, unless we have something thrown at us or something.
think
And
you
this
guys will be
is,
safe.
by the way, for our game that VGDA here in Long Beach is putting out pretty soon at the end of our semester, 2016, Echoes of Tikkun, as I believe it is called.
Yep.
And that'll be releasing for PC, Mac, Android, and iOS.
Plug.
Nice.
Been plugged.
Got
Yeah,
it.
that's what we're working on.
Annotation right here.
Well, a lot of our game is based on sound, or at least we're kind of moving away from that. We're trying to incorporate more
I'd
into
still say
it,
it's pretty.
but it's
It's
a lot. In
sound-based
large part, it's a
platforming.
lot of
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
all the
There's a
puzzle-
key-
Based platform.
All the puzzles are still based on sound.
They're
so I think
they're
that-
themed instrumentally. Yeah.
Right. So I think we can still say it's a sound-based game.
Yeah.
Does it keep you busy?
Yes, very busy.
How hard do you work, Cameron? How much should we appreciate you?
Well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but
Yes,
yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yes, you
never
do.
stops.
See, sound is the type of thing, at least in my experience, a lot of developers forget about, and they just throw it off, or it's like, oh, I'll just pull some sounds from a library, and it's not as good as it could be, So it ends up turning into like something's missing, and developers don't know, like, oh, what's missing? It's the sound, and I had a discussion with someone earlier about how a lot of music in games is just dubstep, and like there's nothing about the dubstep. It could be any other type of music, but it's mostly dubstep.
Because it's easy to write.
Yeah, it's easy to write.
I'm sorry to anyone who likes dubstep, but I'm sorry. Dubstep is not music.
I have some counterexamples I will show you
Okay,
later.
most dubstep.
I'm very particular.
Most dubstep.
But anyway,
I'll give you that exclusion there.
there's no thematic elements in the music that could be reflected in music itself, reflected from the narrative into the music, which as sound lead I really tried to put into the music this semester, having themes to represent each god and then having the themes evolve over the course of the game. Yeah, so
Has that been? So obviously you said it. It's something you've been trying to focus on. In your opinion, then, for like any game that comes out, if possible, should music be composed for every game, like its own score, its own kind of sound?
I think if your game has a story, it should have music composed for it. If it's like a $1 iPhone puzzle game, you can probably get away with dubstep. There's this one game, I forget what it's called, but it's like it's the circle, and then it had the little thing spinning around it, and then you had to press the screen in order to shoot something so it lands. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. Well, it had this like piano music going on through it, and then every time you lost, the piano music would stop, and then start again. And then it was super annoying because you would die like every 3 seconds, and you would just hear the same 3 seconds of music over and over again. Marty O'Donnell is quoted in saying, "Do no annoying," and in terms of music and sound. So in my experience, you want to avoid doing super repetitive, annoying things, or leading to gameplay experiences where the music becomes annoying.
I've played those games where you have to actually shut it off to get
Yeah.
to the level. I'm not a fan of that.
As someone on our narrative team, though,
Yeah,
designed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We renamed it. It matters.
Well, narrative is half of it, and unfortunately, as much as I would like to focus on that, I'm doing the gameplay side instead because we have a sub lead for the narrative team as well. But
Well, still though, does your role on the team does your guys' entire team does design? Is it easy to incorporate like your decisions towards sound team?
Well, specifically for this game, it's been one of our main focuses because everything is so instrumental based, and all the puzzles that we've designed, actually, we've chosen a specific instrument of some sort as the basis of it, and so it makes it a more direct line to sound team what we need to ask them for. And I know that on a less direct level, the actual narrative writing has gone into a lot more of like what the actual types of themes for all the characters of the gods in our game would be, and the types of music and the types of instruments that they would have represent them. And so that's a little bit more of an abstract concept, but I from what I've heard that sound's gotten from them and what narratives established for it, it seems like there has been a really good connection there on what we've actually wanted for the more abstract music for the game, as well as the actual like direct puzzle music. So I think it's been a really good matchup, our communication as far as sound.
I think, yeah, one thing I can certainly say, I have never been a part of the dev team. I've never like helped to develop one of our games. I've just been witness to it while I make little movies for fun. But one thing I've noticed is what an important part of game development, and I'm sure any developer would agree, is like communication and cohesiveness between your teams, like different departments creating this one game. So, I mean, that's good to hear your teams are working together. And I feel like, yeah, this game specifically, it relies so heavily on sound. So it's like something that has to be considered at all steps. I take it you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I've been here just shaking my head.
Yeah.
You'll see that later.
We've made sure that whenever we like come up with a new element, the first thing we do is to go run over to, well, usually we go to art first, and we're like, can you do this? Because they always have like so much stuff that they have to do. Then we'll run over to sound and be like, can you guys do this? And we want to run over to tech and be like, you guys better be able to do this because everyone else can do this.
And then tech runs and rolls their eyes. And
Yeah, just like, okay, fine,
Ken's
we'll
been
do
great.
it.
Because I always make sure, because I have a fair grasp of how difficult things will be to program.
That's really important, actually.
Yeah, no,
A lot
I
of
know
designers
it is.
don't, and that really helps out the tech.
So sometimes the designers will say something, and I'll be like, no, that's like ridiculous. That's not gonna happen. And then other times we'll get super worried, like, can we do that? And I'm like, that's just a variable change. I mean, like, I don't program, and I know that. So I pretty much, like, I would say 95% of the stuff that I've asked Ken to do, he's been like, yeah, we can do that. So.
Ken.
Well, he's always got it.
Yeah.
Ken, who was on the show last week, look up our channel to find the episode.
Annotation right here for that
Yeah,
episode.
right there and there and
Annotations everywhere.
up somewhere.
We just cover the screen.
Don't tempt me, I'll do it.
Remember?
Yeah, you
Remember
will.
those old annotation games where YouTubers would make like super long ass
Oh.
stories?
Oh, where
Yeah.
you'd have to click through to different
And it would
alternate
take you to
videos?
different videos.
Yeah.
Sanity
I am-
Not Included did
I have
that.
never encountered that, and I gotta say, I feel like I'm a better person for it.
No,
Yeah.
there was one. I think it was like sponsored by General Mills or something. It was a cereal one. Actually, no, I remember
Choose
what it
your own
was.
cereal.
No, it was Freddie Wong. They made a video, and it was like there were two choices at one part in the video, and it was like it waited for 30 seconds and then it ended, so you had to click one of them. One was like, do you eat the Cocoa Puffs or do you eat the Cheerios or something? And it like takes you to two different endings of a story. No,
I
it
love
was
it.
kind of cool. It was like you have different endings, you get to choose.
I feel like that's like when I boot up Hulu, and it's like, which ad do you want to watch? It's like, I don't care.
I really
They're all
don't
an
like
ad.
that. Yeah.
Sorry, that was a weird
No,
transition.
no. Does that happen in games actually?
In games where they ask
Where
you which ad you want
I know
to
there's
watch?
obviously ads. Yeah, does it do that?
I feel like I've played a game or two that did that. It's usually the phone games where they have like automatic advertising in a free game.
Oh, really?
But
I never. I guess because I don't have a smartphone, so I've never.
I could have
played
sworn I
them.
had
Oh, yeah.
one where they kept adding in more and more ads as I was playing it, to the point where I was watching like 30-second videos every time I booted
Oh,
up the
those
game.
are the worst.
And then I uninstalled it because it wasn't even fun to play anymore.
Yeah.
But I believe they did check.
Yeah. I mean, ads are just always there, no matter what. I don't think there's a way around it.
I don't have a problem with ads being in games. I think they just need to be integrated in a way that it doesn't break the enjoyment of the game.
I remember this one Apple keynote, actually, though, because they like to announce every time someone takes poop. Someone at Apple does something, they talk about it. But there was one where they were touting their new ad system. They called it iAd, and it still shows up every once in a while, where it was interactive. It's like if this publisher of whatever app chose to use it, they would get in contact with whatever company was advertising, and it was like you could tap it and choose like how I want to interact with this ad. Will I watch this video? Will I choose like which of their products I want to learn more about? And it's like this is exciting.
I prefer the skip button to be interactive.
And then they hide it.
See, that's always my
for, like,
problem
30
because it's like
seconds.
you don't want the ads. No one actually wants ads in their game. You're okay with them though. You deal with them. And when it just automatically goes into it, I can kind of just watch it and ignore it, which they don't want you to do. So when they're sitting there making me choose, I'm like, now you're just wasting all of my time.
It's just like, it's how I feel towards like really bad product placement in movies and TV shows. But I like the way they do something like in Community. They got they got funded by Subway, and so they had to do product placement for Subway. So they were like, we're gonna make Subway an actual major part of the story and make them like this corporate espionage thing that's trying to take over the school.
Didn't they make a character?
Yeah,
called
and his
Subway?
name was Subway. Like the Subway
he was paid
representative.
he was paid by the company to be like a personality, assuming the identity of Subway the company. Like
As
that
long as
was
it's not Jared.
Yeah. Oh god. No.
We'll glaze over that one.
But yeah, I like creative advertisement. I like that.
At least there's some thought to that.
You can always go to the other end of the spectrum too. Like, did you guys ever see Kung Pao?
Yeah.
Just they're dying and they're dragging through the streets.
Yes.
Just, tell me if you see a Radio Shack.
There was that whole like Taco Bell tune.
Yeah.
I've been forced to watch that movie like 3 times because
It's
I have
not
the
good,
worst
but it's
friends.
entertaining.
We only have a few more minutes, guys.
I think Cameron wanted to say something.
Oh, I
Please
was.
do.
This past season of South Park, I'm a huge South Park fan. I think I've watched every single episode.
Wow.
But
You're disgusting, but okay.
Dude, South Park's the anyway. The whole they actually had a season arc and a whole story throughout the entire season, and one of the parts was that ads were trying to take over the world. So like an ad like made itself into a person and then started confusing all the characters and trying to like control them.
I will say the writing, from
Sounds
what
like
I've seen on
memes.
South Park, the writing's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just can't stand like more than 2 episodes of South Park. Like I'll enjoy it a lot if I watch like 1 or 2, and then after that I'm just like, okay.
I think that's a lot of
I need a
shows.
break. Yeah.
So it goes.
Are we putting ads in our game? Just saying.
As
oh
of
wait,
now-
Memes.
oh wait, we
We're
don't.
making the meme version, remember?
Oh, okay.
No meme version.
Meme version of our game.
But we-
look out for it.
If you beat the game with all skulls on, hardest difficulty.
Dank beats, meme version with dubstep music.
We came up with so many names. We can just pick and
Oh,
choose any
we're
one
gonna
of
put
them.
those in the credits. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't make money on our games here. Like as part of the school, we just don't. So it's like we
Yeah.
can't put ads.
I
in
kind of
it.
like
There's no
that too,
reason
though.
to.
There's something, I don't know, nostalgic about being able to release a game that's just the game content. You don't have to pay for anything additional. It's just, there it is, play it, enjoy it.
We're about to wrap up. Do you guys have any other thoughts on our game? Anything else you might want to mention about game development? You want to plug yourselves?
You can check me out on SoundCloud.
I was kidding. No. Cameron, please.
Let him plug himself.
Self-advertising.
Come on.
We
He's got to get something
Wait,
out.
Yeah.
we could
We're
throw a
not
link
paying
in, I
you.
guess,
Yeah.
in the description.
Yeah, you can check me out on SoundCloud right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out in the air.
It's turning into a lot of annotations.
Sure.
Sorry,
are
that was my
we
fault.
doing that?
Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
I host a radio show on Wednesday, 4 to 5 every Wednesday. Radio Free Cosmos, DJ Z Salieri. I do all rock music. So since we're doing shameless advertising for
I'm
ourselves-
cutting all of this out.
You have to do the shameless advertising.
Yeah.
Kind of. Hey, you should subscribe to our channel, VGDA Long Beach. And that's been actually the Dev Kit. I think we're good here. Thanks.